In a small town, there lived a young man named Rohan. He was kind-hearted and had big dreams, but there was one major weakness he struggled with. He always relied on others to make decisions for him. Whether it was about his studies, career, or personal life, Rohan would always look to his friends, family, or teachers for guidance, waiting for them to decide his path. His father, an old and wise man, noticed this habit and grew concerned. One evening, as they sat outside their house under the starlit sky, his father looked at him thoughtfully and said, "Rohan, come with me tomorrow morning. I want to show you something important." Curious, but unaware of what his father had in mind, Rohan agreed. The next morning, they set off together toward a dense forest near their town. As they ventured deeper into the woods, his father pointed to a young tree standing tall in the sunlight. "Tell me, Rohan," his father asked, "how does this tree stand so strong and tall?" Rohan thought for a moment and replied, "Because it gets water from the soil and sunlight from the sky." His father smiled, nodding. "That's true, but what if this tree began to rely on another tree to grow? What do you think would happen?" Rohan was puzzled. His father continued, "If this tree depends on another for support instead of standing strong on its own, it will never grow as tall. The moment the other tree falls, it will fall too." Rohan listened intently, starting to grasp the meaning behind his father's words. They walked further into the forest, eventually reaching an old, deep well. The walls of the well were covered in moss, and as his father dropped a stone into the water, he asked, "Did you hear that?" "Yes," Rohan replied. "I heard the stone hit the water." His father then asked, "Now, imagine if the stone refused to fall because it was waiting for another stone to go first. Would it ever reach the water?" Rohan shook his head. "No, it wouldn't." His father smiled, his eyes full of wisdom. "That's exactly what I'm trying to tell you, son. You are like that stone, waiting for someone else to take the first step. You've been waiting for others to decide your future, but life doesn't work that way. If you keep depending on others, you'll never reach your destination." Rohan stood still, deep in thought. He realized just how much time he had spent waiting for validation, for others to decide his path. He thought about the opportunities he had missed because he was too afraid to take responsibility for his own choices. From that day on, Rohan decided to change. He started making decisions for himself, no matter how small. He stopped waiting for others to push him forward and took control of his own life. At first, it wasn't easy. He made mistakes, faced failures, and doubted himself. But with every step, he grew stronger, more confident. Years later, Rohan became a successful entrepreneur, admired by everyone in his town for his courage and determination. One day, a young boy approached him and asked, "Sir, what's the secret to your success?" Rohan smiled and replied, "The day I stopped depending on others and took charge of my own life, everything changed." He paused for a moment, looking the boy in the eye. Depending on others for every decision will keep you from growing. Success and self-confidence come when you take responsibility for your own actions. If you want to change your life, stop waiting for others. Take the first step today.